beautiful people. It is Tuesday night, 8 p.m. This is where we get together for the Coinda Community Connection. I'm Kelly Wilkins, your host from My Self-Reliance, and it's so good to have you here. We were just discussing what does Coinda mean. Coinda means happy place, and we really feel happy tonight because we have Olivia Broadhead with us. And if you saw the promos, Olivia is an amazing life coach. Welcome, Olivia.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, Kel. Really appreciate it.
We are so excited to have you on tonight, and I'm going to introduce Olivia to you all shortly. But before we do, I just wanted to give a few announcements. We are very excited. We're only less than a week away from the summit, the My Self-Reliance Summit, and I just want to bring up on the screen what that looks like. Because it is all online, people have been asking me, well, you know, what do I expect? And it's a big 2 weeks of speakers. So let's take a look. Here we are. We have, starting with myself, next Monday, it's 12 p.m. and 8 p.m. every day, Monday to Friday. So I will be speaking next Monday on overcoming obstacles with ease and grace. Now, this might lead in nicely our conversation tonight with Olivia, and it might kind of flow and overlap a little bit because we're all about living the best life. So we're going to get a little bit of that tonight. And then we have Yia Alias, I didn't say that right, Alias, joining us next Monday for the opening ceremony. And if you were at the summit last year, you would have seen her creating this beautiful pathway for us to step into having the right framework for mindset, creating like who we are for each other, where we're up to in kind of like this community feel, what we're experiencing kind of with the outside influences. Last year, Yia had just been through the floods, and so her home was underwater just months before she actually went in to do the ceremony. And so we were in that place last year. So we were in a very completely different place this year. So we're talking about very different things. Tuesday, we've got our organic farmers, Peppy from the Northern Rivers, and Marty's Gardening Australia. He has 50,000 followers on his YouTube channel. He's so fun. And then we've got Jana Holmer with DIY Natural Home Remedies Tuesday night. This is such a huge lineup, guys. So you want to get amongst it. Dee doing quails and aquaponics. Aaron and Rob Wilson, our health experts in the house. Dimitri with emergency prep. Rob Pryor, all about talking about the cure for cancer. Having cancer himself, he knows all about it. You're probably not allowed to say that he has a cure for cancer, but this is My Self-Reliance. We do these things here. Mrs. Mudcake, she is all about the Let's Exchange, and I love that program, the Let's Local Exchange Trading System. So get on with that. And Jamie McIntyre, he's been around the finance conversation for, I want to say older than I am. Okay, I'm quite old, so maybe not older than I am, but a long time. And then we head into the second week. Donna with homeschooling, our common law sheriffs are joining us, Basics in the Garden, Artemis talking about overcoming some of our struggles and stepping into our power. Cameron with Earth Energy Tools, that's very cool because we've got a lot of stuff happening around EMFs, and so how do we look after our body in that way? Amanda Gray talking about investing in the real economy. So where do you put your money? That's a really important conversation. The People's Health Alliance team are joining us and looking at how we can create communities around health going forward. Very exciting. Camille talking about foraging for mushrooms. Now, he can forage for anything, that man. And so, one thing that people who are in the foraging kind of realm, they're like, love talking about the mushrooms. So that's his topic of choice. Peter from Bartios. So another option for how to think about your finances going forward and alternatives to banks. So we're really taking care of all this, all the areas that really are important to us: our health, our money, our looking after our bodies, all those good things. And then to wrap it all up, we have the great Aussie battler, Adam and Pat, who have created amazing things in the world. They're all about community. So we're going to have a wrap up, talk about all the great things that we've created inside of communities and, what we can do going forward. So don't miss it. It's going to be lots of fun. So you can buy a ticket at myselfreliance.com.au. If you can't attend in live, be ringside and ask the great questions, then watch the replays. It'll be all available for you. And amongst all of that, if I could have fit in one more amazing speaker, it would have been Olivia. So we're so blessed to have her tonight. And Olivia and I are recent friends. We've met recently and we clicked straight away because we're all about this personal growth journey. And throughout the last 3 years, I really believe that a lot of us are waking up to our own journey, and we stopped looking at like just trying to get ahead in life as if that was all there is to life. We kind of have been able to see life from a 360 view and go, let's re-evaluate our priorities. Let's talk about what the future really holds for us. So, Olivia, you blow me away because I took a long time to get to where I am in my journey, but you're so young and have accomplished so much in your life. Can you take us back? I want to find out more about you, introduce yourself. Let's start with where you were a few years ago, prior to kicking off your health journey, health and personal development journey. What did that look like?
So I can't really say many because I'm only 24. But in my teenage years, I suffered heavily with anxiety. I had an eating disorder. I was surprisingly bullied in high school, and I had a really rough time growing up mentally, which led me to always gravitating towards self-help and positivity and anything that could kind of make me feel good, because I just really had no understanding about what was going on, and I had no knowledge of the world and why things were the way they were. And my parents definitely did the best that they could, but I think now that I'm an adult, I'm probably teaching them things that they didn't even realize that they didn't know and weren't aware of and made aware of when they were in school. So as we were talking with Monique about having a love of learning, my love of learning really did start to come out and express itself when I did decide to become a life coach. And by decide, I think it's kind of like God pushed me and got me to where I was meant to be and became a life coach. So about 4 years ago, I found myself heavily depressed and in a binge/restrict cycle with food, and I was trying to climb the corporate ladder and find happiness through earning more money. And I remember I got my first pay rise, and I was so excited and so ecstatic for about a day or a week. And then I was still in this job and I was like, oh, I feel like I need more money now because like that happiness is worn off. And in order for me to show up in this job every day, it's a real big hassle. And I felt like, okay, I need more money because I thought more money equaled more happiness. And then I invested in a psychologist because I really just wanted to help myself but didn't know how to, and that really helped me in a lot of ways. And then I started really investing my time and energy into books and podcasts, and found myself in the world of personal development just by chance, and I fell in love with it straight away. And I actually started reading a book called The 4 Hour Work Week by Tim Ferriss. And before I actually finished that book, I had quit my job, and I had no plan of what I was going to do. I just knew I was determined to find happiness and didn't have a job. I was really lucky to live at home with my parents, and I had savings, and I had a whole bunch of money because right around this time that I quit was when COVID happened and we were in lockdown. And I had a 6-week Europe trip of a lifetime booked and completely paid for. And then COVID happened, and I was like trying to be optimistic. I was like, no, I'm still going to go. It's still going to happen. And then the lockdown happened, and I was like, yeah, no, I'm definitely not going. But I was very fortunate to get all refunds. So it kind of all happened in the way that it was supposed to, because I then had all that money that was from the trip. I was able to invest that into my spiritual and self-development journey, and pretty much just take a deep dive inwards to be able to find the answers that I'd been looking for quite some time. Then I ended up reading a book called Not a Life Coach by James Smith. And I was halfway through reading the book, and by this time I knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I wanted to work for myself. I wanted to decide when my hours were and what I got paid. And I knew I wanted to help people, and that was a big passion of mine, but I just didn't know how I was going to do it. Like, was I going to need to go to university to be a psychologist, or I was looking up how to be a counselor, and it just didn't all kind of feel right. So because I wouldn't be working for myself essentially at that time. So I flipped the book over, and I was like, what's a life coach? And I looked it up on Google, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's the thing. That's perfect. That's exactly what I want to do. That's what I've been searching for this whole time. And then through God and fate and people and everything happening the way that it did, like Monique, you would know, like Kellyanne Cummings, she's a life coach in Penrith, and Kelly, you might know of her as well. And I thought it was really so interesting that you both have the same name. But it's spelt differently. But Kellyanne Cummings is a life coach in Penrith, and she was my mentor and helped me to become a life coach. And she's the reason why I know Monique, and I know Women with Altitude, and the reason why I know Kevin, who led me to, encouraged me to join BNI, and that's how I met Kelly. And so it's just a whole whirlwind of different people and situations that got me to where I am today. And absolutely loving life and loving what I'm doing. But I don't know if I went deep enough into my past just then, Kel,
Well,
so let me
yeah,
know.
because there's something happened, right? When you were having eating disorder and having concerns, and what was the flip the switch? I mean, you said you read the book. Sometimes that can do a flip the switch for you. And if anyone's, like ever had that moment where you've just read a book and it's just gone clunk, it's like, this makes all the difference in my world, you'll get it.
Mm.
But was that it? Was there something else that happened that,
The book that did that for me was probably The Secret.
yeah, yeah, that, yeah. And did you
Oh,
read the book or did you watch the video, The Secret, the movie?
I did both.
Yeah.
So I read the book first and then I watched the movie, and the movie just really helped me to get a visual understanding of what the book was talking about. But when I read the book, I just remember feeling like, oh, like this is what makes sense to me. Like, this is why my life happens the way that it happens. I'm like, finally, I have some answers to lots of questions I'd been asking. But in terms of my health journey, um, I've always been heavily into fitness and exercise and sport, and that kind of did in turn lead to that obsession with counting calories and exercising as a form of like punishment for eating.
Mm,
That happened when I was around 15. I think I didn't understand that I was a very anxious person, struggling with anxiety. I just wasn't educated on that and aware to know what was actually going on in my mind. So I felt out of control in a lot of areas in my life. And I believe now that I could take control of what I chose to eat and how much I weighed. And growing up, being one of the first generations to grow up on social media and with all the new devices, as each new iPad came out, I had each of the first ones that came
mm,
out. And I, was the first generation to be exposed to things like nudes and Instagram and comparison of one body to another. And that took a huge that had a huge impact on the way that I viewed my body and what I valued as being worthy, as being beautiful, as being accepted. And I had told myself, the skinnier, the better.
mm,
And so I really didn't eat. I was borderline anorexic, and my parents were concerned about me. But I kept getting validation from everyone else that, oh, you look so good. And, you're so thin. And I was getting all that positive validation. So I was like, oh, I must be doing something right.
mm,
And really, it hindered my metabolism a lot by doing this, and eating in these certain ways. And I had a terrible relationship with myself and with my body. And I feel like I'm just really grateful and lucky that I just snapped out of it one day and just was like, I love food too much to keep missing out.
Now that this snapping out, did this happen on its own, or was there a conversation that instigated that? Like, because a lot of people, when they're in that, mindset, it's the snapping out doesn't just happen. So, what is that healing process and that journey into? I mean, because there's certain people that can just decide one day, right? So, how did that play that through?
So Uh, my mind can really, like, when it's similar to Monique, like when I come up with a new conclusion or solution that makes sense to me, I'm like, oh, I'll just start doing that then. And so I didn't necessarily start a healing journey at around 16, 17. Instead, what I then transitioned into was disordered eating and a binge versus restrict eating cycle. Um, and I found bodybuilding. So that was like a healthy way of counting calories and restricting calories and, trying to morph my body to look a certain way. Um, and what I would say was the pivotal turning point for me was actually when I attended a women's empowerment event in Bondi. once again, it was through the grapevine of knowing, do you know that book that I talked about, the Not a Life Coach book? So he had a friend, or has a friend called Lucy, who she actually wrote a whole chapter in his book, and she was the one who ran this women's empowerment event. And it was the first event I'd ever been to, and I was so nervous, and I just thought, why not? Let's just go do it. Like, she's going to cook some really nice food. We're going to do some yoga. Didn't expect to start talking about my relationship with food. Just thought that I'd still be counting calories and exercising to, fit my body into a certain mold. And then I went to this event, and her name is Carissa.
Mm-hmm.
So her Instagram is with Carissa, and she is a binge eating coach. So she helps women to stop binge eating. And little did I know, she was going to get up the front, and she was going to educate me on neuroscience and how that relates to eating behaviors, and change my whole life.
Wow.
Yeah.
It makes a difference, isn't it? You heard what you needed to hear to make those shifts. Yeah.
Yeah. And ultimately, I would say that what led me to having that pivotal moment would have been investing in myself,
Mm-hmm.
learning, choosing to learn from someone about something that I didn't already know or have knowledge about, and connecting with women, right? Like that, I've learned so much through investing in myself and connecting with other women, and being open to learning new things from other people who are more skilled in certain areas than me. And that has been a pivotal moment in my spirituality journey, my finance journey, my career, my relationships, and my health. Like, it's all kind of been
All connected.
affected by that. Yeah, all connected.
Now, I just want to paint the picture for everybody. A few weeks ago, Olivia held a manifestation workshop, which I not only attended, but was actually blessed to be the recipient of Olivia's coaching. And so just to, really fast forward the journey, Olivia presented the most wonderful workshop. So we're hearing how she attended a women's empowerment, and now she's leading them. And I've been to a lot of these events, and I was really honestly and genuinely blown away by what you taught from the front of the room, and how just empowered I felt. So not only I didn't have to be chosen to get the coaching to actually just see just your magnificence in action, right? But I did. So we went through some processes. Olivia has spent some time with me since then, coaching, and I just take my hat off to you, the way that you actually are able to capture, like, me in the bubble. I was like, wow, that is some amazing coaching. I've just never experienced that before. So I just want to give everyone this picture of who we're actually talking to. So let's fast forward a little bit now, and then tell us, like, coming from this manifestation journey, how you work that into your own life, how you bring the magic towards you, because it's almost like we've touched on how you met this person, this happens, that happens, but it's not random. It's really by design. So let's share with everyone, like, if you want to be that kind of person who can start to now really create life rather than just being at the effect of life, how do you do that?
Ooh. There are so many different things that you can do to align yourself with, you may believe the universe or God or your higher self. But the number one thing would be to invest in yourself and to start learning. So a really important thing when it comes to manifesting is getting the energy right. So making sure that you are wanting from an already whole and positive place. And what that can look like, this might be terminology that you have heard of or you haven't heard of, but raising your frequency, or raising your vibe, living your life from a high vibrational place. So that is incorporated with a lot of different things. It comes down to the food that you eat, the way that you eat your food, how often you check in with yourself, how you look after yourself mentally, how you look after yourself physically, the relationships that you have with the people around you, especially the 5 people that you spend the most amount of time with. You've probably, or maybe not, heard of a quote, which is, "You are the 5 people that you spend the most amount of time with." So really being, you know, cautious about choosing intentionally who you spend your time around or time with, and who you expose your energy to and who you give your energy to.
And that can
Um,
even include what you're watching on TV and and music that you're listening to, because that can influence how you think, can't it?
yes, it all influences you. So anything that you are taking in from the world, whether it's visually through your mouth or listening, or even energetically, like we've all had those encounters with people where afterwards we just feel, oh, like just feel like all the energy has been drained from my body because this person has just taken it. Really being aware of everything that you're taking in and giving out, it needs to be in balance in order for you to attract and manifest the things that are meant for you. And it's all about learning, but everyone learns in their own individual way. So for me, reading books was a great tool. For someone else, it might be listening to podcasts. For somebody else, it might be just attending events. For other people, it may be just through experience, so exposing yourself to different experiences, but learning what works for you in your own individual way is really important. And the only way to do that is by trial and error. So I really encourage my clients to try everything and then keep investing your time, money, and energy into the things that work for you. I try everything.
Yeah.
So I know what works for me, and then this is why I can give a lot of recommendations and suggestions to my clients, because I've tried lots of different, eating techniques and eating styles and health remedies, mindset tools, and the whole lot, to then pass on those options that I feel are valuable. And then I always recommend to my clients, just stick with what works for you. Don't try to be like somebody else. Don't try to be like me. Don't try to be like your mom or Tony Robbins. Just because it's working for them doesn't mean that it will work for you. You've got to be on your own path and your own journey, and be willing to fail and be willing to sometimes get it right, sometimes get it wrong, to then learn what does and doesn't work for you and how to keep on that positive path. But going back to raising your vibration and staying in that positive high vibe place, that does come down to doing the inner work, healing your past, facing your past and traumas and traumatic things that have affected you in your life, and really getting up every day and looking in the mirror and learning who you are, how you have become the person that you are today, and then intentionally deciding who you want to be every single day and how you want to show up.
Yeah,
A
super
big part
important.
of a big part of coaching for me is reminding people that they have a choice.
How do you so we're seeing a lot of unprecedented things happen these days, like the shifts that we make just in a year. is monumental, right? Like what the things that people were dealing with last year are very different to the things that people are dealing with this year. How do you uh, would advise people like who are trying to create the future going forward, um, and given all these uncertainties, what advice do you have?
The advice that I have is to always focus on the things that you can control and learn and practice how to let go of the things that are out of your control. So I love teaching my clients that we are in control of our thoughts, most of them. Um, we get to choose what we believe, and a belief is a thought that has just been repeated over time. So this may be new knowledge to you, but it is the thing that changed my life. And it was really learning that my thoughts create my feelings.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's not what's happening in the world and what's happening around me that is causing my feelings. It is the thoughts that I'm having about what's happening around me that's causing my feelings. And when you learn that, you can be really empowered to think on purpose and to be intentional with the thoughts that you allow yourself to think and the beliefs that you decide to give your energy and time to, right? Because we can just go through our lives believing whatever our parents taught us and thinking the things that our friends think, and being on this negative low frequency, like I was talking about before, place, just by being like everyone else and innocently thinking that that's just, you've got no control over the way that you feel about what's happening around you. Like how you were saying, my life is just happening to me. It does take a lot of ownership and self-responsibility to say, no, actually, my life happens for me, and this is why. And looking for those answers yourself, and then choosing to repeat those thoughts over and over again to give yourself the feelings that you ultimately want to feel. And it's a lot easier said than done. But if you invest in yourself and you learn from people who know more about, mindset and neurology than what you do, then that's how you can get those answers really quick and be taught how to actually self-induce thoughts that produce feelings that you enjoy, regardless of what's happening around you in the world. Right? Like, regardless of what that person said to you, or what that person did to you, or what they commented on your post, or what you heard on the news, like anything can happen around you and it doesn't have to affect your inner peace. And that's just by learning that your thoughts create your feelings and really taking ownership and responsibility of your thoughts and beliefs, and focusing on what you can control and letting go of the things that you can't control. Because at the end of the day, if you try and change the world and you try and control what's happening around you, you're just going to burn yourself out and you're going to be left feeling really hopeless, because you cannot change and you cannot control the things that you cannot control. And so, it's an important question to ask yourself, is it even worth me giving my energy to try to change the things that aren't within my control? Or can I make the world a better place by focusing on what I can control and how I can serve people and how I can, make the world a better place from within my hands,
Yeah, I found it's really important these days to be less judgmental of what's people's experiences, and to give people the benefit of the doubt, because it really can create those belief systems once you start assigning, oh, this person did that and that's what it means and blah blah blah. So yeah,
If I can just jump in there, a thing that I learned, and a thought that I really practice, as difficult as what it can be some days, is choosing to believe that everyone is doing their best. You know, even if their best seems to be really shitty and really awful, if I can at least choose to believe that everyone is doing their best, and if that's the best that they can do, well, then they must be going through something really difficult inside of themselves. If that's the best that they can do, then you can have more compassion from that place rather than judging. And another thing that I learned in NLP is that people are not their behaviors. So just because someone behaves in a certain way, that does not mean that that is who they are as an individual and as a person.
Yeah,
It just helps me to feel better.
100%, isn't it? Even yeah, Jesus gave us the golden rule, isn't it? We how we judge others. Do we want to be judged that way? You know, if
Mhm.
we are just doing our best and we don't want other people to think ill of us, and so we can afford to give that generosity to
Yeah,
others.
that's the advice I give my clients whenever they're afraid of other people judging them. I say, well, stop judging other people. I say, if you stop judging other people, you won't be so afraid of their judgment.
It's so true. That's an easy one to get caught up in if you and thank goodness you can have a coach that go, huh, saw that coming. Do you have any favorite practices? Now you talked about a few just now, but do you have any like daily practices that just help top you up with, like having that positive energy and keeping your vibration up?
Mm-hmm. So I have a journal. You're actually resting on it. It's called the 5 minute journal. If you want, I can join, or I'll send you the link, Kelly, and you
Yeah.
can pop that in the Telegram group or the how you guys connect to each other.
Yeah, great.
You can get it on Amazon. I fill that out every day and every night. It has like a morning section and a nighttime section. It's absolutely great. I've had lots of people ask me where I've gotten it from, because I post every day. It has like a little quote at the top, and they're so on point. So everyone wants one of those. So yeah, I use that. I also meditate. I alternate between meditating and deep breathing every morning.
Mm-hmm.
So another influential person who really led me down a holistic health-based journey is Wim Hof.
Yeah.
So I do the cold showers and the cold plunges, and he also has this deep breathing technique.
Well, okay, so you just answered something for me then, because I keep hearing the Wim Hof breathing method, and okay, this is going to sound really bad. I didn't actually know it was a person. So,
Oh,
can you do us a favor? Can you just take us through, like, what does that look like? A Wim Hof breathing technique. Can we do
yeah.
one with you? Is that doable?
It's not doable right now, but I
Oh,
can tell you how to do it,
okay.
and then you can take yourself through it. It's about a 12 to 15-minute practice.
Ah,
Yeah, in total. Um, Wim Hof is a bit of a unique name too,
okay.
so like you can forgive yourself for that.
It's a Dutch name.
Um,
He's Dutch.
That's
yes,
right. Yeah.
yes,
Okay, that makes
he
all
is.
the sense.
He's a very amazing individual to learn more about, though, by following him on Instagram. And I highly recommend reading his book, The Wim Hof Method. So he talks a lot about cold therapy and using cold therapy for health, especially cardiovascular health. But the deep breathing, that method that he has and shares, is more about getting more oxygen into your blood to help you
Okay.
to feel better and to increase health. I don't know the specifics, but it can help with flushing out toxins and like revamping the system. And it also gives your mind a really calm state of clarity. I think that he did say that one of the neurochemicals that is released when you're doing the deep breathing is actually similar to a chemical that people like do when they take the drug DMT. So the drug DMT is like, they call it like the rebirthing drug, where it pretty much like takes your mind back to the time of conception and like blows people's minds. I've never tried it, but lots of people rave about it. It's like one of those spiritual drugs. So yeah, apparently one of the neurochemicals that's released at the same time that you take that drug is actually released into your brain after doing the deep breathing exercise, which is why if you've ever gone to a deep breathing class or breathing class, some people do have like a hallucinogenic experience.
Wow.
I've never had that personally, but some people do have encounters like that.
Right.
I'm more doing it for the health reasons and for the clearing of the mind. So what you do is you breathe in, and he says you can start with your nose, like breathing in your nose, but he does recommend to breathe in through your mouth. So it sounds a bit like that.
Sounds
so
like
you're yeah,
that's what I'm thinking.
So it says to take like a deep breath into your belly, and then you don't want to fully exhale. You're just like pretty much contracting your lungs to then take in more air. So the whole purpose of it is to pretty much flood your system with oxygen. So you do that breathing 30 times. Well, I do it for 30. He does recommend to do it 60 times. It depends how much time you have in the morning to do it. I do 30, but you can do 60. And then at the end of the 30th breath, you release it all out, and then you hold your breath for as long as you can.
Right.
He can hold his breath for up to 5 minutes, I think, or like 5 to 10 minutes, like a ridiculously long time.
Wow.
Yeah, and he can do crazy things. His book is so interesting. He can like slow his heart rate down. Like he can actually be submerged in ice, do the deep breathing exercise, and heat his body up.
Wow.
Like heat his body temperature up. It is really interesting. It's like a scientific breakthrough that scientists are so, they're so like, how is he even doing this? So he's actually teaching scientists through his own methods.
Well, just so on that, we're a little exciting announcement. We've at the festival that we're planning in October, we're actually having an expert come along and for our morning practice, take us through a Wim Hof and ice bath.
Yes.
Yeah. So if anyone's keen on to actually do it at the festival, yeah, we're bringing it.
How exciting. I can't wait. I've always been wanted to be taken through one, because I know it's a bit more of like an intense experience than what you do with yourself.
Yeah. Fantastic.
That's awesome. I'm so excited.
I'll sign up for that.
So yeah, 21st and 22nd of October. So at Wiseman's Ferry, we're very excited. Put that in your diaries. That'll be next. So okay, so then to kind of round out this conversation, now, what is it that you do with your client? What do you focus on? Like tell us, like if someone was to come to you, what's the your ideal client, I suppose, and what's your programs?
Yep. So I specialize in helping women who care too much about what others think of them, and I help them to embody confidence. I do this by working with my clients in the 5 key areas of their life, being health, relationships, finance, career, and spirituality. If someone wants to work with me, they can go to www.lifestylebyliv.com, and in there you can apply for a free confidence breakthrough coaching session. And from after you have your free coaching session, if someone is more interested in looking at or seeing what it would look like to work with me one-on-one, then we would do a confidence clarity call where I would just help them, get a deeper understanding about what's going on for them, and then decide if coaching with me is the best option for them right now. And if it isn't, giving them a recommendation on one of the other many wonderful people that I have the privilege of being in connection with, or then I would ask their permission to show them what it looks like to work with me. I am looking for people who want to live and create a life that they love, who are committed to their personal development journey, and who just want more for themselves and want to be released of the anxiety and overthinking and stress and worry that has held them back from taking action for so many years. And I want to help them to ultimately be comfortable and confident in their body, in social settings, and their life, and to just become the best version of themselves. And there's so much that we work on within the 6-month transformation coaching program that I offer. I've helped my clients move to London. I've helped them manifest their dream partner, to buy their first home, to overcome anxiety, and ultimately just really love their lives. And it's just the greatest blessing that I get to witness that transformation and help them to do that, and then maintain that, and then reach for even bigger goals after we just get through the groundwork in the beginning. So yeah, that's me. And I would highly recommend following me on Instagram if you want to learn more about me, because I share my whole life on there. So my handle is lifestyle_by_liv, LIV.
When we had our session together, tell me if you do this. So you asked the greatest questions, which just uncovered some really great deep things and then you captured them all in an email. Like, I couldn't even tell that you were writing at the time. You were just, and I'm like, oh, I should be writing this down. You're like, don't worry, I've got this. And I'm like, and then you did this huge email. I'm like, okay, I can't even write that much, let alone how you did that and then sent it to me. I'm like, okay, mind blown. Is that how you do your sessions? Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Like, that is
exciting.
huge. Yeah. I could just
I have about, oh, you can't really see, but these thickness of books, I have about 10 of them.
Yeah, like that was just awesome, because I'm like, I didn't have to try and remember. I could just go back to my email. Everything was captured there. I just loved it. Okay, we're going to wrap up shortly, but I want to hear what, through your manifesting, what's one of your favorite things that you've been able to manifest for yourself? Oh, that's a hard one, I know, because there's so many. It's like, oh, how do I pick my favorite pet or my favorite child, or like
I'm interested to know, when I become a mum, if parents actually have a favorite child or not. Because I am determined. I know that my parents do have a favorite child, but they deny it.
No, we're not saying anything out loud. And it changes. Yeah, if you only have one child, sorry.
It depends on the day and the behavior of the child.
Yeah, that's right. Which one's listening to me today? Yes, that's how it goes.
How funny. That doesn't sound like conditional love at all. The best thing that I've manifested would 100% be becoming a life coach.
Mm-hmm.
And manifesting life coaching and this amazing career and journey where I found my purpose, I found my passion, and I just get the opportunity every day to help other people to do that as well. I don't feel like this is work for me. This is just me doing what I love, and I would do it for free. So
Do you know what though? That's what I wish for everybody. Like, find your purpose. Don't get stuck in a job that you just like have to show up to. If you're doing something that you love, then you know that's the absolute joy, isn't it? And then you bonus, you get to make money.
yes.
So
Yeah, well, that's what they say. They say do something that you love and you'll never work a day in your life. And that it was so true for me. And I didn't think it was possible until I found it. And then I was like, oh, I manifested it. Like,
yeah,
I got there eventually. And the manifesting process is so extraordinary to learn, because no matter what, you're going to end up exactly where you're meant to be. But you can get there and it can be a breeze and you can feel really good about it and really confident and happy. Or you can get there and then it can be hard and it can be difficult and a real strain, and you can go through self-doubt and hardship and still get to where you're going to end up anyway.
yes, yeah. Pick your travel. Yeah. How do you want to get there?
Yes. So when you learn the process of manifestation, you get to enjoy the journey, which is your life, and appreciate that there is no end goal or end destination. The journey is the destination. The journey is your life, and that is meant to be the most enjoyable part of it all, not just when you achieve what you want to achieve. Making your life and your lifestyle your dream is the best thing that you can do for yourself, and I love offering that perspective to other people.
Yeah, amazing.
Carol said, if you love your work, you'll never work again. Confucius. There we go. Someone got the exact quote right.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Well done, Carol. Yeah. I think for me it is actually finding out that I actually really love myself. And I don't know if I said that the right way, but coming to that point was like, I can stop doubting myself. I can stop beating up on myself. I can stop wishing I was somewhere else. Just actually loving who I am right now, in all my flaws and all my strengths, and that's who I am.
Yes. That was huge for me as well. It's realizing that I don't need to change in order to be worthy.
Yes.
I already am worthy. I already have been worthy. And so has everybody else, you know. Every human, the fact that we are here and that we are alive is enough proof that we are worthy and we will always be worthy. And so it's actually not up to your opinion. Your opinion is invalid in this situation. You're just worthy. That's just the universal truth.
Yes, 100%. How do you know? God don't make no junk.
That's right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Beautiful. I feel like I had another question, but I would just want to open it up to anyone else. If anyone else wants to ask Olivia anything while we're here in the room. Yes, Monique.
So I just wanted to say that it's wonderful to hear such wisdom coming from a younger person. You know, like I would happily be coached by you, and I would have no qualms about it because I can hear the wisdom, you know, through your experience. But I think you've also got a really good intuition. And you know, I really like that, and hats off to you, you know, because it's lovely to hear, and I know, like working in the space that I do with children with learning difficulties, there's not enough coaching out there, you know. Going to see a coach before going to see a psychologist, or you know, before those bigger problems develop, especially with the results of social media and bullying and all those things. It can do so much for children. I mean, helping them to understand that they're worthy. Wow. Yeah, that's huge. So you're doing beautiful work, Olivia, and I really love what you do. Always have.
Thank you, Monique. I really appreciate that. It means a lot. And yeah, connecting and trusting my intuition has definitely been a journey. You know, it hasn't always been like this. And I can just hats off to my coaches who helped me to get here. So
I do have one more
so
question.
yeah.
Are you taking on so you're doing one-on-one coaching?
Yeah.
Are you doing one-to-many coaching? Are you doing any programs coming up? Anything that you want to give a shout out about?
Yes, thank you for the opportunity. So in September, I will be running a 10-week Confidence Academy mastermind, and that will be a group coaching program which will run for 10 weeks, where I am going to be helping everyone really understand how their thoughts create their feelings drive their actions, and their actions create their results. So it's kind of a lead on from the manifestation workshop, but it is also just learning the practicalities of how to set and achieve a goal, and also believe in yourself and believe in God and the universe, regardless of whether or not you see proof that what you want to manifest or the goal that you want to achieve, whether or not you see that proof of that actually being able to happen yet. So that is coming up in September. You can send me a message saying Confidence Academy, and I will put your name on the list. And we've already got a big list, actually, leading on from the manifestation workshop, which is really exciting. So that's the group coaching program that I have coming up, and that'll be all for 2023, but there is more to come in 2024.
Beautiful. Well, would pop any links in the chat, and I'll capture that and put it on our accompanying this replay. Super excited. Thanks, Olivia.
Thank you so much for this opportunity. This has been such a good conversation.
Yes, and you know, we want everyone to just have experienced the joy, and you know, take the weight off the shoulders. You know, we don't have to be carrying around so much weight. So it's a really important conversation to have, because you know, we have so much happen in our lives that, you know, we have to deal with, and we need our coaches. Everybody needs a coach. Even our coaches need coaches. So
yes,
yeah.
Indeed.
So
it's
thank you.
a biased opinion of mine, but I truly believe that everyone needs a life coach. But it's all about you being on your journey and it being the right timing for you as well. You know, it is a financial investment, and it's not something that I want people to take lightly. Like a good coach will only work with you if you show them that you are really determined and keen to take action to achieve the results that you want.
Yeah, 100%.
It's not all sunshine and rainbows. It's hard work. It's facing yourself. It's holding you accountable to.
It's uncomfortable sometimes.
It's uncomfortable. It's holding up that mirror and showing you this is why everything's happening. And you can either take it on board and take the advice and change it, or you can say, I'd rather just ignore it. Which both are perfectly fine. It's whatever's meant for you at your time.
So just as we finish up, if you are getting started on a personal development journey, what would be a book that you would recommend?
A great place to start would definitely be It's in my sister's room.
Put you on the spot there. Actually, if you're watching, you can type in the chat any great book that you would want to recommend. Let's all share a book.
I remember it. It's the reason why I recommend this book is because it's such an easy read. And you were speaking about my daily practices. A couple of them have come from this book. It's called The Resilience Project. Highly,
I
highly,
haven't
highly.
read that one.
It's really
Alright, that
good.
must have to be my next book.
I think it's like the fastest book I've ever read because it was so enjoyable and so easy to read.
Great. And Monique said The 12 Rules for Life by Jordan Peterson. There's two that I have to put on my list. Love that. My recommendation would be The Surrender Experiment
I like
by
that.
Michael. I'm going to forget his last name now. Yeah. Surrender Experiment. So good.
Surrender Experiment.
Yeah, and you can listen to it on Audible as well. So I actually love to get through my books on Audible. That way, there's no downtime. Shower, Audible. Driving, Audible. Washing up, Audible.
I definitely think I want to start trying Audible because I've been trying to read How to Win Friends and Influence People for like this whole year.
It's hard to get through. Hit the pillow at night. Well, this has been such an awesome conversation. Thank you so much, Olivia, for joining us and for just enlightening us and for your ray of sunshine. We really appreciate who you are, what you've had to go through to get to be who you are today. And you know, it's as you say, it's not always an easy journey, but on the other side, it is a great place to live from. So thank you, and thank you everyone who's joined us live, and those are watching the replay. Give us a likes and a thumbs up on YouTube, and subscribe and do all those good things. You know what? That's the first time I've ever asked for that. I never ask people to, but I'm like, you know, that actually does work. We need to just follow because we have really great speakers on every week. So thank you again. And of course, if you are a regular, we will not be here next week live because we will be in the summit. So people who have bought their summit ticket will be able to come into the room. Yeah. And we'll be with Yana next Tuesday. So all right, well, lovely people, we will have a great week and we'll catch you all very soon.
You too, guys.
Thank you so much, Kelly. Thank you for this opportunity.
Bye, Olivia. Bye, Kelly.
Bye.
Kelly.
See you later, everyone. Thank you so much.
Welcome to the My Self-Reliance Expo. It is a wet, rainy day in April, but we are having the best time.
We're just doing the chocolate wheel. Actually, no chocolate prizes, but spin the wheel for $1. Win prize up to $50. Fantastic. All benefits going to My Self-Reliance.
And 3. We have taken the best of the speakers that we have on our Kawinda Community Connections every Tuesday night, and we've brought them all together in this one place where people can experience all the good things that people have been sharing with us about. Ladies, and I have a little gift for each of you. absolute winner of the day, despite the rain.
Reporting for Team Kelly here. She does amazing work. Loving it.
This is just the beginning for my self-reliance and bringing community together, because we're all about learning, education, workshops, highlighting people's skills and talents so that we can all learn from each other and cooperate in a way that, you know, we maybe haven't seen before. And certainly people who didn't think that they had skills to share are really shining in this space. So we're going to go from the expo. July we'll have a summit, so that'll be 20 speakers over 10 days, and then come spring in October we're actually going to do a 2-day festival. So that will be another opportunity to bring people out to the sunshine and get amongst it and really envelop it all over 2 days. So we're so thrilled that you can be here and enjoy the fun. And if you missed it, we hope that you come again to the next one. We look forward to seeing you. Thanks so much.